there's basically two ways to move rocks. You can argue about the subtleties of how to move this one or that one, or a 2-foot stone or a 3-foot stone, and you get into semantics as far as how much it actually takes to float one, move one, whatever. But there's basically two ways to move a rock: horizontally and vertically. It doesn't get any more complicated than that. What we intend to do is show you how to move one horizontally, and then we'll show you how to move one vertically. And since the average stone is 2.4 foot cubed, or 1,600 pounds, all we have to do is show you how to repetitively move a 1,600 pound stone horizontally, and then show you how to move one vertically. And it seems like an overwhelming task for many, but let me show you how simple it is. Let's say that we had 10 160-pound Egyptian lads. Healthy boys, but 160 pounds. Not, by today's standards, not that large. If you want, you can use 1,600-pound Egyptian guys. It doesn't matter. But 16 guys at 100 pounds or 10 guys at 160 pounds equals 1,600 pounds. Since the lime rock in the region is twice the density of water, all we have to do is create a float device, a piston, in a hole that displaces twice as much space as the rock we want to move. So let's say we had a square chamber that we built in our own rock function, and we built a wooden piston of bound timbers, and we flooded the space so that we have a floating object in a pool. Again, we've already established this 220-foot boat, so we established they understand boats, they understand floating, and they understand woodwork. It's quite a task to build a 120-foot wood boat. So all we have to do is build a piston that floats in a chamber. Let's say that we have the piston in the chamber and the water in the chamber, and the piston flows. And we send our 10 160-pound Egyptian lads up a ladder and say, "Okay, fellas, jump on the piston." They jump on the piston. 10 guys at 160 pounds each is 1,600 pounds. They jump on the piston. It sinks. We then use those young men while they have the piston down, tumble our 1,600-pound stone onto the piston and say, "Fellas, jump off." As they jump off, we have a 1,600-pound lift device. Doesn't get much more complicated than that, because then the same young men can run up the ladder, tumble the stone off of the piston, and then jump on it and repeat over and over. If we had two teams, they wouldn't even get tired. We have now demonstrated how to lift a 1,600-pound stone. Uniquely, we don't actually traditionally lift a stone. We don't carry a stone. Most often you tip a stone. And it would be a sin, so to speak, to ever let a stone lie flat on the ground. What we would do is always shove something, throw a rock underneath the big stone so that then it would wobble, we could get a stick on it, pry it, whatever. It takes 2 or 3 men to move a large stone that is unstable. But if it's ever allowed to lay flat, it can take 10 times that to tip it and get it going, which is a unique concept, because as you can see, lifting a stone vertically is easy. And what I'm talking about, the vertical lift chambers, we find the same exact design repetitively within the pyramid structure. What we have done very often is make it very mystic as to what these structures are. Porticos and statues, you know, little alcoves or places for statues, when really it's just a vertical lift device. I demonstrate this numerous times. The design is repeated over and over, but since it took approximately 30 years to build the structure, each one is developed in a new way as their technology evolves. Understand, this is just like the NASA project. They were developing technology to do the impossible, and there's a reason for survival purposes, taxation purposes, good economic use. Again, do we profit anything by landing man on the moon? No. But the pursuit of the impossible has given us all the technologies and virtually all the major wealth of today. But as we start moving rocks horizontally, we understand that the best way to move a rock horizontally is to tip it, tumble it, and roll it. And as we see, and we will see in the images that we're going to present to you, is that the best way and the known way for moving rocks horizontal is without sleds or slaves. But we have to address certain slave issues. We're told there are 50,000 slaves, thousands of slaves, 50,000 is a number that just comes to mind, that we've heard who are used to build this. But who are those slaves? Are they the Hebrew people, the Israelite people, the Jewish people? Well, in order for that to be true, we need to demonstrate when they arrived, and we haven't done that yet. We do have a means of doing that, and we will demonstrate to you how to do that in the near future. But if you were to use 50,000 slaves to build this structure, do you have any idea how difficult it would be to subjugate and manage 50,000 slaves? Do you have any idea how many people it would take to manage such an achievement? And do you have any idea that if these slaves had nothing to do and you wanted to make a big rock pile, how many other slaves it took? Do you realize that in the day and time, it may take 50,000 people to subjugate 50,000 slaves? Because Egypt is a kingdom without walls. So why do we think there were slaves? Because we typically feel that major building feats have to be done by subjugating a people. And what if it was done by coordination of people that were willing to do it? And I submit to you it can be done, the Great Pyramid can be built with 1,000 people on a part-time basis, and it might have been fun.